Hey folks, welcome back to Nkandla, Africa here on day 2 of Zuma Watch. What is that? Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa. We're keeping an eye on events related to his conviction for contempt of court, handed down by the Constitutional Court a week ago. He was set to turn himself in today, July 4th of 2021, to correctional authorities, but failed to do so. He filed a rescission brief on Friday, 2 days before he was due to turn himself in, with the court, begging them to reconsider their conviction in his contempt case. Well, the 4th of July is America's Independence Day. We celebrate our Declaration of Independence 245 years ago. Apparently, it's not just our Independence Day, it's also Jacob Zuma's Independence Day. Now, Zuma, in his rescission letter on Friday, claimed that he was in frail health. He was ill, that subjecting him to prison would put him at risk of contracting a virus that has had deadly consequences around the world. Well, perhaps these are legitimate arguments, but the problem with that is what happened on Saturday when he showed up with his supporters on day 1 of Zuma Watch and walked around with no facial coverings, no social distancing, violating National Emergency Act declaration. Behavior was off the charts. That was Saturday. Well, things got even more pronounced on Sunday, today, the 4th of July, when he was supposed to turn himself in. First off, he didn't turn himself in. The court gave him now an appearance on the 12th of July. But what really does that mean? It doesn't revoke the order for police now to issue an arrest warrant for Jacob Zuma. That's still out there, although I seriously doubt that the South African Police Services or the captured Magashule will issue a warrant for Jacob Zuma's arrest. So it will pass these 3 days when he's supposed to be arrested without any notification. He does have a court date on Tuesday this week. He claims his health is in jeopardy, but he held a big rally with thousands of his supporters in Nkandla in KwaZulu-Natal today. Thousands. Up on stage with Carl Niehaus, with the suspended former Secretary General of the African National Congress, the man who is trying to overturn his suspension, Ace Magashule, defiantly up there. Both he, Carl Niehaus, and other supporters of Zuma. Zuma wearing no mask, grabbing the same microphone that other people touch with their grubby hands, putting himself at grave risk, yet claiming that his health is in danger if he were to be put in incarceration. It's ludicrous, to say the least. Not to mention the fact that he gleefully stood up there. He sang. It seems quite healthy and spry for a 79-year-old. Sang, danced, chuckled, laughed, spoke to his supporters for about 30 minutes in Zulu. Thousands of people flaunting the disaster. There are no gatherings allowed in South Africa at the moment because of the National Coronavirus Command Council's declaration. And for a 2-week period, no gatherings, indoors or outdoors. Not 2 people, let alone thousands of people. The almost total absence of South African Police Service officers, no SAPS, visibly present, only a distance away. The absence of the military, the absence of security services was a real problem here. Not only were people's health put at risk by the conduct and behavior of Zuma supporters and Zuma, but the physical safety was also put at risk as well. Journalists were reportedly intimidated throughout the day as they waited for a press conference that finally took place in the evening, 90 minutes late. Like a grand vizier, like some emperor, like some monarch. He kept the public waiting for 90 minutes. People sat around waiting for 90 minutes. Well, not only were journalists intimidated, but reportedly South African Broadcasting Corporation journalist Samkele Maseko was also reportedly assaulted on camera, slapped and hit by MK Military Veterans Association members, purported members, the fake soldiers that they claim to be. Well, they claim to be real soldiers, but they're fake soldiers. So, what happened? Well, Zulu had his little get-together with all his supporters, violating the Emergency Act declaration, violating the rules, flaunting everything. And then, later in the evening, sitting in regal wood-carved chairs, as if he's some sort of monarch, taking questions that they chose to take, a very bizarre press conference in which they took half a dozen questions, then didn't answer them, then started taking questions one by one. Quite strange. There were journalists, to their credit, who asked legitimate questions about what about him endangering the public, and what about his supporters firing live ammunition to the air, endangering people. Would he stop that? And he either did not answer the question or said, well, that's not my responsibility. Somebody does something in my name. What do I have to do with it? This behavior is disgusting. It's vile. All the while, in his prepared script, which took agonizingly long time to read, clearly his literacy skills, as we've all heard for years, are quite poor. It took him an agonizingly long amount of time to read his prepared script, which was nonsensical at times, blaming apartheid, hearkening back to the apartheid era for his incarceration, and claiming he should be free because of his liberation struggle, and said that people didn't die so people couldn't be detained without trial. Well, you clueless clown, or you buffoon, whatever you consider yourself to be there, Jacob Zuma, you refuse to appear before a court. A court doesn't sit around and not make judgments because you don't turn up. Courts can convict people in absentia. You chose to be in absentia by defying court orders. It's as simple as that. So it wasn't without trial. You abrogated your right to a trial by not appearing in court. Flaunting ANC authority. This shambolic press conference was ridiculous, to say the least. Ridiculous, to say the least. And while he and his grand poobah sat in their ornate carved chairs, the journalists were standing. At least some were standing to the side, the ones we could see. No chairs for the journalists. So who's running South Africa these days, folks? Is it Cyril Ramaphosa, who went to Zambia apparently for Kenneth Kaunda's funeral? Where's he at? Where's Waldo? Anybody know where Cyril Ramaphosa is? He's nowhere to be found while Jacob Zuma holds court and defies the law. Is the ever-present member of the Zuma faction, one Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the chair of the National Coronavirus Command Council? Where's she at? Is she running the country? Is the NCCC running the country? Or is it Niehaus? Is the party running the country? What about Ace Magashule? He claims he's still part of the ANC and he'll have his day. Or gangsters. Are gangsters running South Africa? Well, that might be the most apt description here. This isn't legitimate governments. This is a farce and a joke. It's a disgrace for 59 million South Africans who suffer under this joke of a government. Or is it Jacob Zuma? Well, Zuma seems to be appearing to position himself for all kinds of things. His followers and Zuma himself threatening violence, threatening to attack and cause problems and chaos if he's in fact carted off to jail. Day 2, Jacob Zuma doesn't go to jail, holds a rally in which he exposes himself to all sorts of health issues, chuckling, laughing, dancing, singing. Seems perfectly spry to me. Then he holds a shambolic press conference in which he dictates the terms. When asked legitimate questions by the press, he simply gobbledygook says something else. When asked a question about something he shouldn't have done, he starts talking about the struggle and how he's oppressed and how his children can't get jobs or denied jobs. What do you mean, patronage jobs? Well, of course they should have patronage jobs. Day 2, Zuma Watch. More to come. We'll keep this up and see how it goes as the situation unfolds in the once real country of South Africa that's become the epitome of cloud cuckoo land. Thanks a lot, folks. If you're not a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa, why don't you become one? Smash the button right down there. 4th of July, America's Independence Day, and Jacob Zuma's Independence Day for now.